And winter is coming.
With your heart so cold, Sub-Zero.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle, and welcome to Winter is Coming, where we discuss cold weather toys. Or at least we did, but I've kinda run out.
Yeah, I think there's only a couple of vehicles left that I don't own at the moment, like the Avalanche.
Oh, and the Polar Battle Bear. I do have the one from my childhood, but it's very incomplete and broken, so I'm gonna have to get a new one.
That means it's time to get creative. So today, we'll be taking a look at the Hasbro Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero figure.
It qualifies if I say it does.
So meet Sub-Zero. This figure was released in 1994 with one original body part. And this both is and isn't a G.I.Joe figure. It isn't because the Hasbro Mortal Kombat toy line made no mention of G.I.Joe anywhere on the packaging.
Nor was there any fiction or promotional material where these toys were ever associated with G.I. Joe.
But they are G.I. Joe figures in the sense that they use G.I. Joe body parts for the whole figure except the head. In Sub-Zero's case, the body is a fusion of two Cobra Ninjas, almost Dragon Ball Z style. His body is from 1992 Slice, while the arms are from Dice of the same year, with an original head. And hell, I'm surprised we even got a new head, since a repainted Storm Shadow one would have worked fine for the Mortal Kombat Ninjas.
So anyway, about the figure itself.
Does it do a good job of looking like the game character?
Well, yes and no.
If you look at just the figure, sure, you can immediately tell it's the Mortal Kombat Ninja. It's a look that's instantly recognizable. But if you look at it a little closer, there are several important details that are just wrong, all due to the fact they used a slice mold.
The problem is mostly the chest.
In the games, Sub-Zero wears a tabard, which means it should stick out from the shoulders a bit, but that's a minor thing. What's more major is that a fairly large part of his chest is supposed to be black, unlike the little bit of color here. Also, the tabard is supposed to drape over his waist.
Other than that, yeah, it sure is like looking in the freaking mirror.
Now, since the figure uses a Ninja Force body, he gets the Ninja Force gimmick of having a martial arts move. In this case, you can pull his right arm back so he can give an uppercut. Which is actually pretty neat, as the uppercut is one of the greatest moves in the Mortal Kombat games.
Okay, now let's have a quick word about his accessories.
And yes, the Mortal Kombat figures did come with accessories, even though the game characters didn't really have any, unless you count Scorpion's rope spear or maybe Raiden's hat.
So Hasbro had to get creative, in the cheapest and dumbest way possible.
By just giving them G.I. Joe weapons. In Sub-Zero's case, they were a hook sword and a big knife. You know, that hook sword he's always using in his fatalities.
This is baffling to me.
Because unlike other characters who you can't really give appropriate weapons to, I mean Johnny Cage came with a rocket launcher for God's sake, Sub-Zero was uniquely suited to have some.
They could have given him ice weapons.
Just give him some Ninja Force weapons in translucent blue, something they already did in the G.I. Joe line. It would have fit perfectly with the character. Hell, in some later Mortal Kombat games, he actually had those. So yeah, I'm not bothering with giving him accessories. Now, you know how I like to go on about Hasbro always doing things as cheaply as possible?
And I'll be doing so later in this video, but for now I wanted to point out one instance where it's actually justified and appropriate.
This figure uses the exact same body parts as all the other ninjas in the line. And Hasbro got lucky there, because the game uses the exact same sprites for all three ninjas in the first game, just color swapped. So you could call this a nice homage to the game.
While still being cheap as hell.
Looking at the toy overall, do I like this figure?
Well, yes I do.
So it's not a perfect representation of the game sprite, he's still instantly recognizable as Sub-Zero, and besides, there's another character that got it much, much worse. Oh god, they just gave Sonya Jinx's body and called it good. You were done dirty, girl. And that's it for this figure's review.
But I want to briefly delve into a bigger subject here.
Hasbro really screwed up during this time period.
Let me set the stage.
The year was 1994. Mortal Monday was just the year before, when the first Mortal Kombat game came out on consoles. Mortal Kombat 2 was doing gangbusters in arcades around the world. And just a year later, Mortal Kombat the movie would come out.
To say Mortal Kombat was hot is like saying Taylor Swift can sing a bit.
The franchise was well on its way to become a juggernaut. The only other fighting game on equal or greater footing was Street Fighter II.
And guess what?
In 1994, Hasbro had the license to produce toys for that too.
Hasbro held in their hands the two greatest fighting game dynasties of all time.
And kids could have characters from both fight it out since they were both in the G.I. Joe scale. Something that to this day you can't do in an actual video game.
Yeah, kinda weird how these games have never crossed over.
Sure, you can have Scorpion beat up the Flash, but who gives a crap?
Wait, what was my point? Oh yeah, Hasbro dropping the ball.
So they had these two franchises, and the idiots did what they did best, try to spend as little money as possible. All Kombat figures used G.I. Joe molds, with the exception of Goro, because good luck trying that with existing toys. And a large number of Street Fighter figures did too. And so both toy lines ran for maybe 2 years each before being cancelled. If Hasbro had invested some more money so that all characters had unique body parts, except the ninjas, they can share because, like I said earlier, nice homage, and put some more care into the accessories,
Actually put in the effort.
who knows how successful these toy lines could have been? Who knows how long Hasbro could have kept the license? The games are going to this day, so again, who knows? I believe that in being cheap, Hasbro actually lost out on a huge amount of money because they squandered the license.
Anyway, with that, it's time to talk about the character? Really?
Okay, but just very briefly. The whole Mortal Kombat mythos is way too long to get into here. Sub-Zero first appeared in Mortal Kombat 1, and canonically, in that game he was killed by Scorpion. Because the Yellow Ninja was a Spectre who was after revenge because Sub-Zero killed him and his family, except in some continuities he didn't but was framed.
And you see why I didn't want to get into this.
He died in the first game, period. Every Sub-Zero you see after that is actually his brother who took the name, and the original never appeared again.
Until he did.
Okay, in Mortal Kombat 2 there's a hidden character that you can't fight as but can fight against if you do a bunch of special stuff called Noob Saibot. He's just a joke character whose name is the last names of the game's creators spelled backwards. But soon thereafter Mortal Kombat lore crawled up its own ass and it was revealed that Noob was actually the first Sub-Zero brought back as a wraith for reasons. Oh, and there's also a classic Sub-Zero in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 who the game's ending revealed wasn't the original, but it was never determined who he was. And I haven't even mentioned the movies because he got one line of dialogue explaining his background, and a new movie would be a whole video all of itself. And that's not even getting into the cartoons because goddamn.
Oh my god, I'm never complaining about how convoluted G.I. Joe history can get again.
I guarantee.
If you didn't get any of that, feel free to spend hours and hours on Mortal Kombat wikis trying to piece it together. And that was Sub-Zero, the Hasbro toy. Well, the first version anyway. There's a movie version we may get into at another time. And what can I say? He's Sub-Zero. He's pretty damn cool.
I swear, pun not intended. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing.